there is like paper and fires, and I'm like worried like we're gonna get like get arrested, something that you have no experience in, right? But yeah, these were the times, like this was exciting, this was craziness, and now I have 3 kids, I chill, and
since then, so
yeah, I've been busy. I'm old. I'm 56, dude. I have a 2-year-old.
Man, that's crazy. So we hung out that night for the first time, and we settled something. I didn't even remember that I'd said anything at a public level, but I had effectively attacked you. There was a
Me?
Yeah.
How did you attack me?
It was, and
like physically?
No.
Oh.
I remember you called me out about it too. What it was you had a huge rad stunt that you did, where like you were suspended with hooks going through your back.
I remember that one.
And somebody asked me about it or something, and I was like, like the hooks through the back. I don't think it's really funny or something.
No, definitely
like
wasn't fun. It was fucking painful.
Yeah, like I would have. I was like, maybe I would have done. I would have done it with hooks through my butt cheeks or something. I don't know.
Well, you're crazier than me.
Yeah.
I'm in the world of illusion. Even though I had no illusion, I had no painkillers, no numbers, and I hung for 6 hours. I broke the record.
Yeah, and you're not trying to get the humor out of it.
I was the first person I ever hang from a helicopter. I didn't realize that the helicopter with the camera was going to create turbulence, and it was excruciatingly painful. I was up there for 30-something minutes, but no, I didn't do it as like a jackass thing.
Right. Right.
I did it as like mind over matter kind of thing, to try to inspire people that are trying to accomplish things that look impossible, trying to show you that anything is possible.
Yeah, and dude, I'm thrilled that you don't even remember that.
No.
Good.
Steve-O who? No, I'm just kidding.
How long does it take to prep for something like that? The helicopter one.
Well, I produced the show, and so it was when I first went up, I felt like I was going to puke, so they had to bring me down. And the guy that does the piercing, Alan Faulkner, I think his name was, nice guy, said, once you come down, you're never going to go back up. And I was like, the money is on the line with me, because if I don't do it, I lose all this money that I now have to create content that I've already spent for helicopters, this location. So I had to produce. It didn't matter what I thought, and it was very difficult to get back up, but I did, and I was up there for like 35 minutes flying around with 4 fish hooks through my back, the first person to ever do this. And then prior to this, I hung for 6 hours in Times Square. And you've seen all things in Times Square, but when you see a dude hanging for 6 hours in the middle of Broadway and 43rd, people like looking at me and they're like in a puke, because the skin just stretches. But yeah, Steve-O, if you would have done this, you would have done it like, in some crazy. I don't know if you could physically do that. You'd rip your balls right off, because if the hook goes in too shallow, it rips out of your skin. If it goes in too deep, it could do muscle damage. So it's really dangerous. At that point in my life, I was doing shit. I spent 24 hours underwater. I did a lot of shit that like I would never do today, kids and everything. But I was so desperate to achieve what I had in my head that I didn't give a shit what the consequences were. Like I said, either I'm gonna get out of this condition physically, on my own terms, or you're gonna pull me out in the body bag. There was no way I was gonna lose. I was gonna die trying. That's how bad I wanted to succeed in my life. I just was willing to die for my art.
Why were you ready to throw up on there? Because of the pain, or because of
when your skin separates from your muscle and you're hanging, basically like, when you pick up a cat by the neck, that's kind of how you're hanging. You're hanging from your skin. All of the weight of everything internally is just like stretched. And it's just insanely painful. I only had one other thing that was more painful than that. And that was, believe it or not, I shot something and I had to put prosthetics on my face. And when the guy removed the prosthetics, either the liquid that he was using to remove the glue or something got into my eardrum. And I wanted to take a gun and blow my brains out. The pain was, I couldn't, it just was just non-stop pain. It was the craziest pain I ever had. Worse than anything I ever experienced. And that was second. But you have done things, and I'm going to ask you this when we do my podcast, but the things that you have done, you know, without really a lot of planning. Like, you've done a lot of things like just, I'm going to do this, and just had something to drink, and bam, literally did the craziest things that literally could have killed yourself. And you've ended up in a hospital so many times. Like, what was the mental state to do that, and how did you prepare? Or you didn't prepare, like I just said, just did it. What was the mental state?
Yeah, the mental state. I think that my general position is that my need for attention outweighs my need for safety and comfort.
So you were willing to die for your performance art.
Yeah, pretty much. We have that in common.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the hard part is like, because there's no planning with Steve. It's all like spontaneous or as close as you can get. So me having the plan, like help call the places and get it approved, like I think it'd be a lot easier if we had like a 3 days to prep. But like sometimes we have like 4 hours.
Yeah, you have to. I did like over 1,000 demonstrations just on Mindfreak, and I had to do 28 episodes in one season. So that would be, you know, 10 to 15 demonstrations that I had to have prepared. And the sheer volume of doing that, you just don't have that time, and you don't have that budget. So it's like, you know, you take chances. I took a shitload of chances. I was on Planet Hollywood, 30-mile-an-hour winds, trying to walk down it 550 feet in the air with no safety. Like, it was the craziest thing. Like, I have video of this, and my brother freaking out because he thinks I'm gonna get blown over. Then the cops come because I wasn't known at that time, and people thought like I was a jumper.
So how long does it take you to prep for something like that?
Well, then, no time. If I'm doing something now, I have a team. You know, these studios, these are my buildings. So we fabricate everything. We do everything, engineering. You know, we do everything in-house. So it becomes, it's a very different dynamic than when you're doing it in the garage. You know? Then you have two people doing it.
You said that you move to Las Vegas and you have some success there, that you're out all the time. Like, you had more than a little bit of success. Let me ask you, why should Chris Angel be the one with more than just a little bit of success? Why shouldn't you have tons of success when it's so doable to grow an audience online and sell products to them these days? And if you're shipping your own products to your own customers, then the way to do that is with ShipStation. Like, that's how you get successful Johnny Knoxville and Steve-O Skateboard 2.0 out to the people. When the bucket list DVDs are signed and shrink wrapped and ready to go. I mean, come on, ShipStation is the way to do it. It takes all of your different shippers, all of your different platforms, and just combines them into one easy-to-use interface with the best rates for shipping. And just, you know, get your order, print out the label, slap it on the box, put the product in, it's out the door, and you are on your way to having more than just a little bit of success. And we've got a great deal for the listeners of the Wild Ride podcast. If you go to ShipStation.com and use the code Steve-O, you get a risk-free 30-day trial so that you can find out just how much potential there is. So, to get your risk-free 30-day free trial, go to ShipStation.com and use the promo code Steve-O. It's time for you to have success. Let's make shit happen. And let's get back to it. Right? I mean, when you can't, how much different was getting the residency with the Believe show?
Well, the Believe show was a shit show. that was produced and owned by Cirque du Soleil, and I was basically their puppet. And it was the best experience of my life, and it was the worst experience of my life. I learned so much from it. My show at Planet Hollywood, Mind Freak, right now is the most insane show, and I would love for you all to come see it. It has a tornado in it. It's like physically the people are immersed in it, and I'm flying around. You see me on the ladder there, just doing the craziest shit with people in the audience. It's just a crazy show. You'll cry, you'll be scared, you'll be like energized. It's just a nutty show, and it's evolved and transformed into the #1 residency show in Las Vegas, which is insane. We bring in like, $150 million into the casino a year. There's been stories written about it, and a lot of people that hate me for it, and a lot of people that love me for it. But at the end of the day, having the live show is awesome. I've done over 5,000 shows in Vegas. I've been performing here since 2008. 2005 with Mind Freak, but television is a completely different beast than live. You know that. You're doing comedy, you're like killing it. You're out there touring, you're doing all that, and then you do a movie like Jackass, or you do like, MTV Jackass. Each medium has its own things that you love about it and things that you're not as much of a fan about, right? So it's all different. You just got to play in that medium and know how to engage the audience or the viewer,
But do you love doing a residency versus like doing a work?
It's a job, It's when you go out and tour, it's a very different experience. Yeah, I had the opportunity one time to have I think it was dinner with Elton John, and he said, Las Vegas audiences are so jaded. It's the toughest audience because they're coming in, they're seeing you, then they're doing this, then they're seeing that person, then they're going out to a club. Lots of things to do. But when you tour, it's an event. The radio's talking about it. People are driving 6 hours to see Steve-O. It's an event. It's a different type of energy because they're not going to do this. They're planning this for months that they're coming to see you. So they're hyped up. They're getting themselves more hyped up. And so it's just a very different dynamic. But for me now, doing it in Vegas for so long, listen, I'm blessed. I have an incredible life. But it's a job. It's not something that I always look forward to do. I'm being honest with you. It's sometimes, I'm not feeling good. I fuck up my ankle, and I have to go do the show. And I've never missed a show since I've been in Vegas. I've done every show because when I came to Vegas, when I had nothing, I remember I couldn't even afford to rent a car, and I walked to go see the show that I bought tickets for, and it was canceled. I was so pissed. I spent the money on the plane ticket, on the hotel.
Who was the show?
I don't want to say. God rest their soul. But all I can say is this, is that I just promised myself that if I was ever blessed and fortunate enough to have success, that I would never cancel. So I do the shows. When I'm on stage, I love doing it. When I tour, it's an excitement about that. You wake up, you're doing one-nighters. I wake up, I'm in a different place. The crew set up my shit in like 3 or 4 hours. I go out and do the show, go maybe play a little blackjack, have some fun, jump back on a bus, do the same thing the next day all over again. So it's different things, but I'm blessed to do what I do. Planet Hollywood is a great home. Mind Freak is a great show, and I'll be doing it tomorrow night through Sunday, and I continuously do that about 200 times a year. I used to do it 460 shows a year. Now I'm down to about 200 plus all these other projects. So it's good. It's a good time, but busy.
When you do it on tour, how many trucks does it take?
I keep it simple. I do another show. It's called Raw, which I played on Broadway, and I tour with it. I do one 53-foot truck, 3 tour buses. That's it. We set up in less than 4 hours, and we tear down in about 45 minutes. But, if you're a comedian, how big of a truck do you need for your microphone?
Right.
Or a ladder. You bring a ladder, right? Because I saw you when you were working here in Vegas. I'm trying to think. I think
Riviera
you were with Tom Green. And you were awesome. Like, that's when you were like really starting to really like focus on comedy, right?
Yeah, that was very green at that time.
Is that why you were here in that photo? Was it no, that photo that you
Oh
had with everybody.
Tom Green and I were doing the show together. Yeah.
The 2013.
2013.
Now your shit is like crazy, man.
Yeah,
like
it's
you're selling out venues all over the place. Your Instagram, your posts blow up, and yeah, it's incredible because you don't see that necessarily from the same folks that that were featured in the movie. So you worked hard to get there.
Definitely put the work in. It's been a wild thing. You reached out about this magic show with the stars, and I wasn't able to do that because I was on tour.
Right.
But how did that go?
It went great, but the amount of work it was for me as the executive producer and creator, it just was overwhelming, and the artists that I brought on, Frank Mir, Randy Couture competing against each other, or Donny Osmond and Debbie Gibson, or Miles Brown, and just a host of really cool people. It was a great show. It was fun, but one season for me was enough.
Yeah, and where did that live, on CW?
Yeah, CW. But they were going through some changes. They went through a new president, a new marketing department. So I was in it, in their valley, let's just say.
When we were talking to Carrot, what was it? He had an encounter with George Carlin. George
Yeah.
Carlin was like his mentor.
Mentor.
Not mentor, but it was like his role model.
That clip has like 4 or 5 million views on YouTube.
Right,
It's
it was
crazy. Him
something-
talking about George Carlin.
It went super viral. Which makes me want to ask you, do you have, like, in the world of illusion, somebody who was like a hero to you?
Yeah, I never was a big fan of magicians because I always thought they were so hokey, honestly. There were obviously, like Doug Henning, that was a product of his times. You had Siegfried and Roy. But a guy named Rich Yardy from Lima, Peru, really inspired me because he didn't have the flash. He just used simple objects, a broom, a chair, and he would create miracles, and he had such a commanding presence. He passed away in the 80s, but he had a real effect on me. So did Houdini, obviously. But he did crazy things. He cut a girl, he ripped a girl in half with a chainsaw, a buzzsaw right there. And he didn't put her back together. He left her bleeding. And he would have, the audience come up and look at his daughter actually just sitting there, appearing like she's dead, just like a massacre took place. And I was just like, wow. That is not like the family magic show that we expect to see. And I love the fact that he did something so unorthodox and so provocative. And I think that had a lasting. He did things with razor blades, which I do on my show. I think you did the razor blades, didn't you do the razor blades? Did you do something with razor blades?
He chews glass.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
with the
Okay.
glass,
Yeah. Okay. So razor blades, glass. But yeah. So. He was really cool, and I have a little piece that I pay tribute to him in my show currently, which is called The Cult the Chair, but my interpretation of it.
Is there anybody that because your name's synonymous with Vegas, I'm not trying to suck your dick or anything, but you're a big deal in Vegas. Is there anybody that you get starstruck over, this fucking guy's at my show, what the fuck?
Wayne Newton, is he still doing shows?
He's been to my show. Yeah, he's still doing shows for Caesars. I don't know if he's located at Caesars, but the Caesars company. He's a lovely guy to me. Very obviously, he is Mr. Las Vegas, and you got Tony Orlando, who's doing the podcast for me today, who's like my father, who is a legend, has the greatest stories about the Rat Pack and just like old Vegas and stuff. Tony Orlando is learned so much from him. The guy is still performing and kicking ass, and he's dear friends. He comes over. He was just over for Christmas. Yeah, there are people that, I enjoy. I like to see any show. I don't care if it's a shitty show, if it's an okay show, or it's a great show. You can learn from anything. And I love seeing things and trying to take away, something from that experience because, it could always be better, right? You do a show, you always can. There's always something you like, the timing of that, or the way I deliver that, or maybe I have to edit that. It's like it's not tangible. It's like trying to hold water. Or the way I deliver that, or maybe I have to edit that. It's not tangible. It's like trying to hold water. Or the way I deliver that, or maybe I have to edit that. It's not tangible. It's like trying to hold water.